Hey, good morning, COD Walk, Jog, Run students. Welcome to week 8 of our course. So for this week, you are going to be reading a article and giving your thoughts. You can answer one of 2 questions. And then for your activity log, we're looking at 90 total minutes of aerobic activity, walking, jogging, running. Of course, I encourage you to break that up, right? You can break your 90 minutes up however you'd like. I encourage you to establish one day that is a long day, so your long walk, jog, or run, and then another day that's maybe a little more intense, where you do some type of speed work, and then any other walking, jogging, or running outing can be a recovery day. So 90 minutes, try and get that in, or that is due by midnight on Sunday, November 22nd. And then for your article, you are going to be reading an article that discusses 2 books. First book is, I would say, my favorite book. It's called Natural Born Heroes. Of course, it concerns running, but it also concerns history, so it's interesting in that regard. And I'll kind of give a summary about that book. It's by the author is named of the books is named Christopher McDougall. Again, you're going to be reading an article that talks about 2 of his books, Natural Born Heroes and Born to Run. And I'll give you a little summary of both those. You're then going to be answering one of 2 questions as far as your assignment. I was going to have you read an excerpt from Natural Born Heroes, but I couldn't find a portion of the book that we could address as far as running, and also that kind of would give you a clear understanding of the book, because again, it was just a portion of the book. So read the article, and then I encourage you, of course, to read the book if you're so inclined. So his first book, or the first book that I read of his, is Born to Run. It actually had a huge impact on the running community. In that book, he looks at essentially, like it sounds, that we as humans were born to run. He looks at people that run barefoot, right, just because that's their way of life. So they're not running like a 5K or a 10K necessarily. They're running as a way of life to get from point A to point B, transportation, even to gather food or to hunt. And oftentimes these people are doing this, and this is throughout the world, these people are doing this barefoot. So the way this greatly affected the running community is with barefoot running and minimalistic footwear, which I did, and as a PT, even as a PT, I went in a little more than full bore and ended up injuring myself because, again, like you, I grew up mostly wearing shoes, and then to drop to covering high mileage in minimalistic footwear, it's quite a stress on your feet. So I encourage you to read that book if you like, but then if you're really gung-ho about trying this barefoot running or minimalistic running, I could encourage you to work into it slowly. So that was his first book that I read, and that kind of put him on the map. Born to Run, great book. Natural Born Heroes, of course, like I said, it involves running, it involves history, because it's an account of the island of Crete during and their resistance to the Nazis, essentially. And so what they had was the inhabitants of Crete kind of going up into the mountains of Crete and essentially resisting the Nazis and running. They were hiking, running, and essentially avoiding the Nazis on these trails that were previously used by goats and goat herders. And it's a really cool book. So you're going to be reading 2 quotes about the book. In the book, they mention the sport of parkour, right? Free running. You've probably seen the videos, and that's going to build upon our 3rd module where we talked about having fun when you run, right? So that's kind of the angle that I'm looking at with this book. It's probably, I know I probably preach that a lot, that you should have fun when you run, and running should be play, but that's what this is coming from. So you're going to read a quote from a man who runs a parkour group, and he talks about how as adults we kind of stop playing, right? And parkour is an excuse to play. So I ask you to give me your thoughts on if you, have an outlet still as an adult for play. And then the other quote is from Christopher McDougall, and it talks about how, anything that is naturally good for the body, the body, the body wants you to do things that are good for it. So things that are good for the body will often feel good, or as he says, will give you that rush of endorphins. And so you can respond to that and just tell me, hey, is there a activity that you do, and it doesn't have to be running or walking, an activity that you do that is both, sorry, there's a fly buzzing around, both good for you as far as your health, and also, gives you that rush of endorphins, right? So it doesn't have to be running, right? Maybe it's rock climbing or baking or, what have you. So you're going to respond to one of those two questions, and then you're going to reply to a few of your peers, and we're just going to keep this ball rolling. After this week, we move into Thanksgiving, of course. So you, again, have these two assignments to do. 90 minutes of activity for your activity log. Respond to one of the two questions that you will see outlined on the module, and reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, right? BK Fitzpatrick at collegeofthedesert.edu. I hope some of you maybe get a chance, I know maybe not during this term, but to read this book and let me know what you think, or maybe you've already read it and you can let me know what you think right away. So happy trails, and we'll talk to you later.